Welcome to our mid-season review of Arsenal. In the video, we're going to be talking all about how Arsenal have done this season over all competitions. We're going to be talking about some summer signings that we hope that would improve the Arsenal team and all things Arsenal this season. As I'm an Arsenal fan, I'll go first. I think in terms of league position, 25 games into the season, you don't want to see Arsenal 11th with more losses than they have wins. So in terms of our league campaign, I think it's not over because a few wins in a row and a few results going against other teams, you can be straight back in it, but it's fairly written off. We had a really close game against Benfica, 3-2, Aubameyang scoring in the last minute, saving us. We've now drawn Olympiacos, so now I don't know. I think a lot of Arsenal season hinges on the Europa League, and the fact that we've, come back from behind and done that is quite impressive, I think. So we'll see. What do you think, Gui? How are you feeling about Arsenal season so far?
Think that despite everything, I mean, all this Arteta talk and people backing him and people talking about rebuilds and all this, I think Arsenal's season has still been very poor. And I think a lot of fans have to demand more, especially in terms of consistency in the Prem,
Mm-hmm.
um, but also from the players. I mean, Arteta can take some blame, but not entirely all of it. Certain players should be pushed to do more. Things like hate and all that in social media that we hear so much about nowadays. No, that's not okay. But I mean, like positive reinforcement, like constructive feedback, because a lot of players at Arsenal just need to be better, just need to do better, and they surely get paid enough, have enough attention from coaches and personal trainers and all this stuff to be better. And that's what Arsenal fans should be focusing on when they get angry and sad and embarrassed about the results that Arsenal saw this season. I mean, they're out of the FA Cup. EFL Cup was out. They're 11th, as you said. Europa League, well, we'll see. It's very early, round of 16, but they could do it potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I still think it's been a pretty tragic season. Summer is going to have to be a big transfer window for Arsenal. We'll see if they have the funds, because that's always a weird situation with the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, despite everything, I like what's been happening recently. You can tell Arteta has somewhat of a vision, and there's certain players that will most likely stay. Odegaard looks like to be a great addition. We'll see how he finishes the campaign, but yeah, with all this said, I still think you need the squad to be better. They could have done better.
Yeah. No, I agree. Fairly poor season. I'll kind of give my thoughts on why maybe I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. But what do you think, George? Are you as damning as Gui is?
I won't be too down on them, but yeah, it's not been their greatest season. That's the stats back it up. To have more losses than wins isn't something you want to be having for a club like Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 11th in the table. It's not great. Um, I don't know if I can see them pushing European football, but they're going to have to really up their efforts and improve their consistency. Maybe after this Benfica win, they're gonna all right, we can actually win games. Let's go ahead and get on a bit of a run here.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see them winning the Europa League. So yeah, they're gonna have to really up their game to get European football. Um, yeah, but I would like to see them do well in future games because I think Odegaard is a great prospect. Sorry, Saka is unreal in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but it's at the moment he seems like a one like the only attacker that can challenge at times. I
Yeah.
know Aubameyang has bagged a few goals recently, but he's got off to a very slow start
Yeah.
to the season. So I think they need to be more clinical. They're playing too defensively, in my opinion. It's all about the holding the possession in the midfield or setting up good at the back, but they're not really pushing for goals enough
Mm-hmm.
to to get a decent place in the Premier League. So they have to be a better attacking wise, in my opinion, because I believe Arsenal, they haven't conceded as many goals as other clubs this season. So
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I agree. I think we're good defensively. I think the light at the end of the tunnel for us is this season, like you said, Saka's been immense. We've seen the evolution of him kind of coming forward, the emergence of Emile Smith-Rowe, who at the start of this season was a talent only known to Arsenal fans and is now doing really well in the Premier League. I think the addition this season of Odegaard and Thomas Partey and Gabriel have been really, really huge for us. I think Willian was obviously, it's a big meme. He's done really badly, but he's shown, at least in the game we just had against Benfica, that he can come on and do something. He provided the assist for the goal. So yeah, I think, like you said, in terms of stats, it's a damning season, but I think a lot of Arsenal fans who are realistic knew that coming into this season we weren't going to be anywhere near the title. We were going to be hopefully crossing our fingers challenging for top 4, but it was kind of a throwaway season anyway. At least that's how I was thinking about it, because I think Mikel Arteta is a really good manager. You hear praises from all the other different managers about how well he is, how good he is, and how good a coach he is. You hear from the players, but he just doesn't have the funds. I just hope that we somehow sneak our way into Champions League this season, whether that's Europa League or otherwise, and maybe get some funds for those January transfers, because we do need a lot of them. Well, not January, but just summer transfers. I don't know about you guys. Hector Bellerin is leaving, so I think we will need a replacement for him at right back. We probably need another center back, probably another midfielder, and then maybe a right winger or a young striker to replace the 2 aging ones we have. But yeah, we just need overall a bit better quality.
Is Thomas Partey permanent or is he a loan?
He's permanent. We signed him for 45 mil, but the issue is he's been injured for a lot of this season.
Well, yeah. But I think Partey is 100% a starter that you can rely on, and you don't need a backup. This man is just so good. I'll say that I think this season Arsenal has relied so much on people like Tierney, Partey, Saka being fit. There's like 3 or 4 core players that if they're all fit, Arsenal is actually a good team and can contest the other top teams in the Prem. Yeah. However, they haven't been fit. And this isn't a problem to just Arsenal. So you can't be like, oh, we're so unlucky. No. Hella teams have had injuries, right?
Yeah.
But Arsenal relies so much more on these 4 or 5 dudes that when they're not there, well, you notice it a lot more because the bench, well, it sucks. And it's not enough. So I think, Arsenal need big signings because there are big problems and players like Rob Holding and other starters, but you also need to get like youthful, cheaper prospects for the bench, and it will take some time for Arsenal to rebuild, but you do need just some more quality and young players to sort of sit on the bench, because you can't just buy everything, right? You can't just buy a whole new 5 or 6 starters as well as a bench.
Luckily,
so I think, yeah.
Luckily, I think I agree with you. I think our squad, our actual starting lineup is not the worst. It's like you said, contestable, but our bench is just so poor. I mean, we have Reece Nelson, who's never really done very much. We have Bolligan, who is a great academy prospect, but hasn't really proved it. We don't really have anyone we can bring on other than Willian. I think another thing that maybe we won't have this analysis for other teams, but I will have for Arsenal. It's just that I know the amount of outgoings we've had. That's been a really important thing this season. We've seen the likes of Mesut Ozil, Socrates, Mustafi, Kolasinac, like a lot of these just garbage, like garbage old players who are just stealing a salary. We've cleared up nearly 700, 800 grand off the wage bill in the January transfer window. So hopefully we'll be able to reinvest it in the summer. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Who would you guys like to see being brought in? Like, if you had to pick, Arsenal get one big transfer this summer, because we never do more than one.
What kind of budget are we talking?
I don't know, just who do you think would be good that's realistic? Like, we're not going to sign Erling Haaland because we don't have the 100 million that he'll cost. Someone that you think is realistic and could come in straight into this Arsenal team and do a really good job.
I have one person in mind. You were saying you wanted another midfielder? Frankly, Ceballos, Xhaka, they're not good enough. Partey needs a decent midfielder beside him.
Yep.
So the person I have in mind is Frank Kessié from AC Milan.
Frank Kessey, why? Like, in terms of what would his role in the team be? Do you think?
I think he's a very similar player to Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
So he has a good pass on him.
Yep.
He is very good defensively. He's just an all-round kind of tank like Thomas Partey. And if you have two of those in midfield who can pass and can defend, two all-rounders, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, efforts can be pushed up into the attack. Even the right back and the left back can just kind of move up and down the field because you have those two guys, as well as the centre backs covered with the defence. So that's just my opinion.
Fair. So we're going with Frank Kessey, which would be another defensive midfielder to pair Thomas Partey. What are you thinking, Gui?
I'm thinking maybe one older center back, somebody who's a bit more experienced, somebody like Coates from Sporting, someone like that. He won't cost you too much, but is a guy you can kind of trust.
Don't tell me you want me to bring Coates, dude. I remember.
No, not Coates, but somebody like him. I don't want Coates to leave, man. I want him to stay. But apart from him, I would also want to see like a young center back. Somebody just get Rob Holding like the fuck out of there, Somebody to replace him. Like Porto has this guy called Diogo Leite. Have you heard of him?
Nope.
He featured against City in the Champions League. You may have seen him, George. He was really good, really, really good. And he doesn't play much because, well, Porto has just older and better center backs. He would cost maybe 10, 15 mil. He's 21. He's good. Someone like that. That's the exact qualities you need. Somebody has shown good play against like larger clubs in big competitions like the Champions League, who's still young, isn't starting. Someone like that who can maybe sit your bench, play a few cup games, and then figure it out, right?
Fair.
But yeah, I think a center back this would be huge for Arsenal, and then from there, I think start with center back, then look towards right back. Everything else is kind of okay-ish as long as they're fit.
I agree. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think both are good. An experienced center back. I don't know about that one just because we've got David Luiz. I know it's like a big meme, David Luiz's ass, but in terms of experienced center back that's been there, done that, I think maybe we've covered that. I think
that is true.
I think maybe if, as an Arsenal fan, we've kind of not solved our attacking problems, but bringing Odegaard in, having Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Aubameyang has actually there is a lot of creativity there and quite a few goals. The issue I think with Arsenal is if Hector Bellerin goes, we're going to need a right back. So I think Tyreek Lamptey for Brighton has been really, really good. I think he's not a super expensive player. It's kind of big English club stealing from small English club mentality. So I think maybe Tyreek Lamptey would be quite good.
Tavernier maybe from Rangers.
Tavernier from Rangers would be quite good.
I think like Arsenal probably need to go to a smaller league and try to steal someone a bit cheap. Because Arsenal won't spend much. So play something like the Austrian league, the Portuguese league.
There's a really good right back who plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's 18. His name's funny enough Dodo, but I would love to see Arsenal make like one of those signings that no one knows about and is really quite good. I think center midfielder that can score goals is good. I've seen a rumor today that we're rumored to sign Jack Grealish. I think that only ever happens if the other rumor that's come out today that Arsenal are looking to sell Lacazette for however much. I think if we sell Lacazette, we could afford Grealish. If we got Grealish, it would be a huge coup because I think he's really, really good. But I don't know how much truth is in that rumor as well, since we are looking to also sign Odegaard. I think personally, as an Arsenal fan, if we make Odegaard a permanent, maybe bring someone like George is saying, Frank Kessey, and it wouldn't cost a huge amount of money, maybe a destroyer, a cheap young centre back like you said, and maybe like a Tyreek Lamptey or Tavernier, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, I think what's really crucial for Arsenal right now, what they should be thinking about, is securing European football.
Yeah,
get form in the Prem, get like 7th, even if that's what you get, it's still European football.
Yep.
That's priority number 1. And from there you go.
And as we did with our Man United prediction, our Man United mid-season review, we're going to give Arsenal a grade for this season. Currently, I would give us a C minus. I don't think it's D plus territory because I think if we'd been knocked out of the Europa League, we're going into the low D's, F's. But since we got through in the Europa League, we pulled an Olympiacos side. I know it's a big meme because we got knocked out by them last time, but hopefully we're able to get through that and continue on. And the league, because the league is so different and weird this year, we could very easily go up or down. So I think C minus, maybe D plus for me. But no, I'm actually gonna call it a C because of the really good outgoings we've had in terms of transfers. What are you gonna go with, Gui?
Probably gonna keep it about the same. Yeah, a C. A C is fair. Maybe a C minus actually. C minus. Because Arsenal, like you see, like in January when Arsenal was on that great run, 3-0 against Newcastle, 4-0 against West Brom. It looked like shit was coming back together. But now, the last few games haven't gone that well in the Prem. That lack of form is still very worrying. And you thought Arsenal would have fixed a lot of their problems. Odegaard coming in January would have fixed a lot of things. You would have thought that by January there would be a grasp on the Prem. You would be getting results. Like obviously it's okay to lose one or two against weaker sides. It happens to everybody.
Yep.
But you saw it a lot. You lost to Wolves, you lost to Villa, you drew with Crystal Palace very recently, lost to Southampton on the FA Cup.
Yep.
That's 4 games that, you can't win them all. Maybe 1 or 2 draws is okay, and it happens, but 4 losses is not okay. So, because of that, I'm giving them a C minus.
All right.
We'll see how the rest of the Prem goes. I still think Arsenal can 100% push all the way up to 6th, maybe even 5th, probably 7th. But
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So far, C minus.
C minus. We've gone with a C because I'm biased. Actually, C minus. What are you going with, George?
I had my mind made up when we hit record. It was C minus. I just think.
We're all in agreement for once. It's a rare occasion.
Basically, what you guys said, they're not consistent enough. Maybe we'll review it at the end of the season, but yeah. I think C minus is fair.
Cool. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.